Got to mighty knows, Hawks fans. The rumors, they just keep on swirling. Will they stop? We never know. But one thing we have to know is the trade talks are heating up. A domino has fallen today as well. So you never know what could possibly happen behind the scenes. But we're going to get into this rumor that is surrounding the Atlanta Hawks. And hey, how all y'all doing? Welcome to Hawks Digest. I'm your boy Chris Tip Moore. Welcome to Hawks Digest once again. And before I get into this rumor, you know we got to do it. And I'm about to get right into it. No wasting time. Thank you to everybody who is a part of Hawks Digest. We salute to each and every last one of you helping us get over 1,700, marching our way to 1,800. And it's all because of you. And if you are not a part of Hawks Digest just yet, I'm telling you, man, then now is the season. Now is the time. We're pushing closer. Hopefully we can get to 2,000 maybe by the time the season starts or before then. That would be great. But it all happens, you know what I'm saying, if you guys are with us here at Hawks Digest. Now, again, I said I'm not going to waste any time, guys. This trade rumor is surrounded around Julius Randle becoming an Atlanta Hawk. Yes, that's right. Old school rival from the New York Knicks back then, back in 2021, going against the Atlanta Hawks. You know, of course, we know the infamous Eastern Conference Finals run of the Atlanta Hawks, and Julius Randle was a part of that. Being on the Knicks back then, of course, you know, this past season, he played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, trying to help out Ant-Man get to the NBA Finals. Of course, they fell short. But now you have the Atlanta Hawks possibly receiving Julius Randle. Okay, let's start from the bottom. Minnesota would receive Terrence Mann, okay, Kobe White, Lonzo Ball, Jalen Smith, interesting, and a 2025 first round pick from Atlanta, the 22nd overall pick. 2026 first round pick via Portland protected 1 through 14. So Minnesota, they get a nice little haul. You know what I'm saying? They get some bench pieces for Kobe White. That would be interesting, them trading Kobe White, especially for Mike Conley. But you see the Chicago Bulls, they receive Rudy Gobert. They receive Mike Conley. And really, I believe the whole thing is that Rudy Gobert, you're getting a center, and you having Mike Conley. But I think for this whole situation, okay, so what would Chicago do with Vujacic? But that's their problem. Let's get to our home team, the team that matters, the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks would receive Julius Randle. That S&T, that means sign and trade. So that means that the Minnesota Timberwolves would sign Julius Randle to the 3-year, $75 million, $25 million per year contract, and send him to the Atlanta Hawks. And the Atlanta Hawks would get off of Terrence Mann's $15 million contract. Of course, also, we would be giving up our first-round pick in this year's draft. But we would be receiving Julius Randle. Now, I have to admit, Julius Randle in the playoffs, he doesn't have, like, the greatest reputation. But, and I mean, we seen that ourselves, right? It was DeAndre Hunter put a stop to him. He was supposed to be that guy that basically like helped carry them over the hump. It didn't happen, okay? But Julius Randle did put up nearly 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, shooting 62% of true shooting. He had some good games against the Thunder. He had some games where he also disappeared as well. I mean, let's just keep it real. In the playoffs this year, he had games to where he disappeared. He had games to where he was solid. And for Minnesota, he was their secondary option. He averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds and nearly 5 assists in the regular season. Now, as far as like a space floor, like a spacer on the floor, should I say, he shot 34.4% from 3, you know what I'm saying, on nearly 5 attempts per game. It was 4.6. So, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, he was still the secondary option. So some people look at that as not good as a secondary option. He would not be that here in Atlanta. Trae Young, we know that that's the number 1 option. Number 2, I would I would think it's safe to say Jalen Johnson when he's healthy, right? I mean, even though Zaccharie Risacher and Dyson Daniels is on the team as well, Onyeka Okongwu, you look at it and you be like, okay, so where would Julius Randle fit? He wouldn't be asked to do as much, I believe, because again, Julius Randle would probably play the 4, and then you would slide Jalen Johnson down to the 3. And Jalen Johnson definitely would be overpowering defenders. He just would have to work on his shot a little bit more and just his own self, I would say, shot making, shot creating, and everything like that to be at the 3 to be a little bit more versatile. Because of course, you know, he goes downhill and there's no way to stop him. But if there was a few more things he can add to the game, maybe a back to the basket game, being in the post or something like that, just to add a different element to JJ, it would take him a long way. And who knows? He is working right now in the offseason. You never know what he's going to come back equipped with. But again, Julius Randle would not be the first or second option here. He would probably be the third, possibly fourth option. And you would just have him coming in being the 4 and coming in and getting his opportunities when he can. Now, I know a lot of people was talking about, you know what I'm saying, with the PJ Washington thing. And like, I wanted to make this really clear, just kind of like a mid-set break here. The PJ Washington thing is not trash. For me, it just would be, if I'm going to get anybody from them, it would have been Daniel Gafford. Now, of course, I want Ant-Man from Minnesota. That's unrealistic, though, right now, at this point, for now. That's unrealistic. So, but a sign and trade Julius Randle. Do you want to pay Julius Randle $25 million per season, even if it is only for 3 years? The postseason inconsistencies still are there. Like I said, he had games to where he had good games, and then games to where he was just absolutely absent. You think back to that Thunder series, that Game 4 loss. Ouch. Okay? Ouch. But that's the only thing that you really would have to worry about necessarily when it comes to that. Okay, can he perform in the playoffs? But even more importantly, you bring in Julius Randle, you're going to limit somebody, whether if it's Zaccharie Risacher and his development or Dyson Daniels. Then you have to think about this. Dyson Daniels eventually has to be paid. I want to be the team that pays him. And if you do the sign and trade, $25 million a year with Julius Randle, guess what? It may complicate things. I'm not saying it will. I say it may. It may complicate things with Dyson Daniels. We don't know, but that would become a more realistic thing if you was to get rid of a $15 million contract and then bring it right back but add 10 more mil to it. Now, you do get, I believe, more scoring with Julius Randle, but how would he fit with the Atlanta Hawks? You do get some toughness with Julius Randle. You know I love that. Of course, you know what I'm saying, that's one of the reasons that I feel like Minivan still has some value, because the attitude. But I feel like if you bring in Julius Randle too, you're going to have to move some other contracts. Like the guy I just said, George Niang. You may have to get him up out of here. You may have to, Terrence Mann would be gone as well. You may have to still cut some salary somewhere else as well to still make this all work and make it, you know what I'm saying, make sure we got the bench together, all those good things. So while I'm saying that Julius Randle would be a good piece, at the same time, it all has to make sense, right, Hawks fans? And with the domino that has fallen today, I'm not saying that it wouldn't make sense. You have to get better within the Eastern Conference. I believe the Eastern Conference is still wide open. It's not a far-fetched. We've seen worse trades than this, I believe, and you do get a scorer back. You do get somebody that did have a great playoff performance, but he just had lapses. We have to talk about the lapses along with to take the good with the bad. But let me know what you guys think. What would you think about Julius Randle becoming an Atlanta Hawk out of all players? Of course, you know what I'm saying, again, you know the whole thing with Trae Young. I don't think it's personal. I really don't think it's personal, but he would bring some attitude. He would bring some scoring from the power forward position. JJ would be able to slide down, but it's just like, okay, are you putting Dyson on the bench? I highly doubt it. So the odd man out would be Zaccharie Risacher in that starting lineup. And unfortunately, I still got a lot of faith in the kid that you took #1 overall, and I think he deserves at least 2 to 3 years of development to allow him to, so to come within his game because you took him first overall. So there would be some things to talk about, would be some things to think about. It's not like I said, the worst idea in the world. I possibly would kick the tires because Kevin Durant, if all those who don't know, he is now a Houston Rocket. Now I figured that he would end up going to either Minnesota to help Ant-Man, Houston, or Miami. Houston or Miami because no taxes. Whatever he signs, because I'm pretty sure an extension is coming down the pipeline. So even if it is a two-year extension, if he went to Miami or if he went to Houston, he would get all his money because of the no state taxes. So that's what happens with that. And now, since that domino has fallen, eyes are going to go to other players like a Julius Randle, like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. So we're going to see exactly what happens. But for me, guys, I will say this is my last rumor video until after the draft. There will be, me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but I want to talk about the draft moving forward. So until after the draft, happens, this right now is probably going to be my last rumor video. Next video you may see me in is probably going to be mock draft, etc., because the draft is here. It is this Wednesday. So we are finally made it. We're going to see exactly what the Atlanta Hawks do at 13, at 22. Do they stay? Do they go? What happens? We don't know just yet, but I promise you, when it does happen, you can come right here, the Hawks Digest, to find out all the details as me and Walter Pollard were pounding the pavement, trying to give you guys the best content, no matter how big or how small. We talk it all. So until next time, guys, peace and blessings to you all. And to you all, I'll holler.